Have you ever heard the quote, "The way you think about money determines how much of it you'll have"? I remember hearing that for the first time and I thought that was total BS. Only I was stuck at about $40,000 a year in my business and there was no way that we were going to be able to leave our full-time jobs. Could it be that the way that I actually thought about money is what was holding me back? No way. Only consistently resisting this idea was keeping me exactly where I didn't want to be, which is why we finally decided to explore this concept. And we became aware of some really powerful hidden forces that were actually working in the background, keeping us stuck. Now, here's the thing. We believe that you can make an incredible amount of money to achieve the financial and time freedom that you truly want, while still making a huge impact when it comes to the connection with your family. If you're ready to explore this with us and start making the kind of money that you and your family deserve, let's go. It's time to redefine leadership. Welcome to Modern Leadership, where we see things differently. Our channel is all about empowering entrepreneurs like you to achieve the next level of success in business and life. We believe that you can create a massive impact in the world without compromising your personal life or family time to do so.
We're committed to providing you with actionable tips and strategies weekly to make that possible. So if you're ready to become a modern leader and make a lasting difference in the world, consider subscribing. Turn on notifications and dive into our community. We want to thank you for being here because the world needs your leadership now more than ever. Let's go.
Okay, so quick question for you. How do you determine what your beliefs are about money?
Well, something that I do is I actually ask my clients to finish this statement. Money is blank. So if I asked you, money is what to you? What would you say?
I would say right now, my mindset has changed a little bit. It's money is abundant. But before, it was like money is limited. I have to work my butt off in order to get money.
All right, so let's talk about that. So when you used to think money was scarce, how do you think you were showing up?
Great question. I would always feel like when I went into a coaching session, when I went in to make a sale, when I went to do anything with my business, I would have this real negative energy of I absolutely need to make this sale right now, or I'm not going to have success. And it would bring a weird energy because I kind of felt like I was trying to convince them or force them into taking action rather than just asking them questions to see if my program, what we do can actually help them. And I didn't realize that that was actually running in the background. I didn't even know it was there. But when I thought that I had to work hard for money, I was just constantly throwing more action and more energy and trying to convince people rather than just leading with what I truly wanted to lead with, which is making an impact in people's lives.
Okay, so what happened when you actually started to change or shift that mindset?
Yeah, great question. So, that's the year that we went from $40,000 a year to just under $400,000 a year. And it was crazy because once you get to that point, it's kind of also a new level, new devil. You have different money limiting beliefs that continue to come up and are running in the background. And so others started to come up too. And I just realized that once I was able to navigate it on a smaller scale, I could also do that at a much bigger scale too. So going back to that question, I want you to try that on for size. Money is blank. What comes up for you? When I say that, I mean what comes up for you automatically without having to think about it or coach yourself? Is it things like money is abundant? Money is easy. Money is fast. I love money. Now you see a lot of times when we think about things, if we're I love money, we think that must make us wrong or bad. But here's the thing. How many charities can you donate to if you don't have any money? And when you think about it that way, it's wow, that's a different perspective. But here's the kind of money limiting beliefs that were coming up for me initially. Money is hard. You have to work very hard for your money. How about this one? I never have enough money. Only greedy people want or need money. And money isn't important. That's kind of a hidden one. There's a couple hidden ones where it's well, money really isn't important. It's all about love and it's all about X, Y, and Z, right? But it's funny is Jim Rohn says money isn't everything, but it's kind of up there with oxygen because you kind of need it to survive. You need it to thrive. And I really want everybody to make a ton of money. And how we do that is we start cleaning up our thoughts about money, not the ones that come to our mind consciously, but the unconscious ones that are actually running the show.
Yeah, and I would say that money isn't the most important, right? But like you said, it is up there. It is pretty important.
So let me ask you this. Why would you encourage people to make a lot of money? What do you think the benefits are from making a lot of money?
Okay, so I'm just going to rattle off a few things. So I think money solves problems. Money can actually buy you time. And there's actually nothing more valuable than your time. Money can actually speed things up for you.
Can you give me an example of when money would speed things up for you?
Well, if you're talking about your business, it can actually speed things up by maybe hiring someone to help you with some of the tasks that you just don't have time to do.
And I can even, go into the family life piece is like we have somebody who comes here every other week to help clean, to put like some of the different, do some of the loads of laundry, do some of the cleaning around the house and things like that give us more time so that we don't have to do that. But also we don't have to like think about the mental capacity that it would take to do all that. And so money is one of those tools. Now, what's also beautiful about it is the person and people that we support because we make money. And that would not be possible if we didn't clean up our thoughts about money. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And the reason it speeds things up is because it actually allows you to do the things that only you can do, the things that actually move the needle forward.
I mean, a perfect example here is like Teresa and I can come here, we can record our videos, we can send it to Kurt, who is a master at editing videos. We don't have to do any of that. And it comes out even better because honestly, we suck at it. We want to stay in our lanes. We want to do things we like not only enjoy, but we're actually good at, and leave that other stuff to people who excel at that too.
All right, so let's continue. So money can also buy you learning opportunities. It can give you the ability to actually learn new skills.
Let's pause on that for a second, because I think that's one of the biggest things that I got stuck with when it comes to my money limiting beliefs. You see, when I was making about $40,000 a year, I was thinking about in terms of I have $40,000 coming in. I have to make sure that I make money in this transaction and I don't put out more money. And this was at the time that life coaching came up for me. And life coaching was $20,000. I was thinking half of my income from my business this year is going to go to learning a new skill. That's why for 3 years, I didn't do it. I convinced myself, this isn't the right move for me. How can I do this to my family? I'm taking from them. And it was crazy because in the third year, I'm like, I've got to think about money differently. And I joined. And I know you know this, but 42 days after I graduated from becoming a life coach, I made that $20,000 back. And it was crazy because now I get to make that every single time, every single year. And it's like building off of that. But it's one of those beliefs of like, instead of thinking about money as scarcity, thinking about it as like, this is a new skill I'm going to be able to develop, and I'm going to have that skill for the rest of my life.
Yeah. And we're not saying that you have to spend $20,000 to learn a new skill. However, just don't be afraid to actually put some of the money that you're making into learning opportunities. And maybe you're not making any money, but find ways where you actually can learn new things that may be even free, but just make sure that they're things that are actually going to help you.
Yeah, I mean, that's such a solid point. I remember like the first, I don't know how many years of our business, we actually weren't making money. We were constantly making money and then reinvesting it back into us, back into business, back into systems, into things that were like going to help us in the long term. And we weren't thinking like short term with money. But we also weren't going out and getting like a $200,000 loan and like blowing it on things, right? It was about like, how can we continue to develop our skills in our business so that we can bring more value to people? And by doing that, we were able to effectively do that. And it was just that gap between when we hit that $40,000 and for some reason I took a step back and I convinced myself that I had spent enough money on skills, that I had learned enough things. And it was just that one that kind of like took it over. Now, I do want to say this, because this is like in James Clear's Atomic Habits. And that's like, it's not the last skill you learn that makes you more effective at being a business owner. All the skills that lead up to that, it was just that one that made you like tip over the edge. He likes to describe this as an ice cube. He says like, if you're in a room and it's 25 degrees in the room and you raise it by 1 degree and there's an ice cube on the table, right? And it goes 25 to 26 to 27 to 28. There's virtually no change, right? To 29 to 30 to 31. But between 31 and 32, the ice starts to melt. And so everybody, even people on YouTube, even people in our courses, even our one-on-one clients are like, it was that big thing that happened from 31 to 32. And we're like, no, it's not. It was all of the other temperature changes that led up to that point to give you the opportunity to go from 31 to 32. Yeah. And honestly, I really think a lot of you guys are at 31 degrees right now. And it's whether or not you're willing to lean in and to give it one more shot, to go up 1 more degree. And that's all you really need to do, right? At least that's the way that I like to think, because I know that gets me to show up on an entirely different level with an entirely different energy set. And when I put that out into the world, people are more likely to take my advice, my direction, to join my programs, because I really do believe that doing that is going to change their life. So how about this one? People say that money is the root of all evil. What do you have to say about that?
It's not true. The love of money is the root of all evil, right?
Mm-hmm. So when it comes to money, what do you think money does to us?
So actually, money makes you more of who you really are.
Yes, I love that. So obviously, if you're a greedy person and you make more money, it's going to make you more greedy. Mm-hmm. But if you're more giving, and you make a lot of money, which I hope you do, it means you're going to be a lot more giving. And so there is that fear. Why do you think that people say these things over and over again? I know for me, it was like money doesn't grow on trees. Like, why do you think people lead with that? And I know a lot of times there are people who don't understand how money limiting beliefs, happen. Sometimes with our parents, sometimes with the people we hang around. But why do you think they reinforce that and say that over and over again?
Well, it's probably because they just feel like it's a justification for why they're not making money or not moving forward.
Yeah, that's such a huge piece right there. Because if you can convince yourself that money is hard, money is the root of all evil, you won't have to do the hard things that it takes to actually make money. And it's crazy because like we were saying in the beginning, this is unconscious. Like a lot of people don't even realize that this is happening, right? Our parents say it a lot, or whoever that is, and they don't mean to be ill-intentioned. They're just saying those things because it helps them reinforce their belief system to make them not get uncomfortable, right? But it's a good thing here because we are willing to get uncomfortable, right? Like we say, we're modern leaders, we lead from the front. And so that's why we wanted to have this conversation, because when you really do take a look at what your subconscious programming, what your thoughts are about money, and you reframe those, you can actually get into the point where you make a lot more of it and you also don't feel bad about it.
So let me ask you a question. How do you balance the need for making money with the values and the mission of your business?
Oof, that's a very great question. I think sometimes a lot of people will separate those two, like they're individually. Like this is my vision and what I want to create for me. And then separate, I have a mission that I want to impact the world with. For me, and you know this because as life coaches, we ask ourselves, how can we have both, right? How can we excel at both? Just like when we say that we believe that you can like create a massive amount of success in your business while also creating legendary connections at home with your kids. It's just a matter of reframing it as both. So for that, I think about like the impact that I do want to make in the world, along with how it's going to help support me and our family. And so I think about how could one actually benefit the other? Right? Because if you want to make a ton of money, but you don't want to make a big impact in the world, like I'm not sure like how you're going to be capable of doing that. But if you want to make a huge impact in the world and you're not thinking about your day to day, like how you're living, how you're eating, I don't know how long you're going to survive there too. It's the beautiful place in the middle. It's like I'm doing this, yes, for my family to make an impact, to have that time and financial freedom, but also I'm doing it because I want to help a massive amount of people in the world. And the beautiful thing is when you make more money, it's because of the impact that you are making in the world. And so it's one of these things where it's together, it's not separate. All right, so I have a hard question for you. Like what strategies do you employ to keep a positive money mindset, especially when there's like some financial difficulties? Because it's a matter of not if, but it's a matter of when, right? So what do you think you do?
Yeah, well, it's really about awareness, right? It's becoming aware of when that happens. It's not bad to have bad feelings about money when you're not making any money, when times are tough. It's okay to feel that way, right? But it's about becoming aware of how that's affecting me moving forward.
I love it. And one of the things that my brain goes to too is instead of focus on what's broken, wrong, or missing, focus like on the opportunities that you have right now. One of the things, I know I said this over and over and over again, is Ed Milet says, you're most qualified to help the person that you used to be. And so when you go through those situations, yes, you can actually think about, once I get through this, how am I going to be able to use this and the skills and the tactics and the mindset that I've been able to develop to help other people go through this situation too. But at the same time, it also really gives us a great opportunity because when we see that we can get through it and we model that behavior for others, we're literally proof that it's possible for others. I know a lot of things that we talk about here on this channel is like providing hope, is getting people to see that it doesn't matter where you are, how long you've been in business, all the skills that you've developed so far, all those things, like you can succeed. It's just about taking that next step, taking that next skill, learning it and implementing it and putting it out into the world. And it doesn't matter what you look like or what you sound like or any of those pieces, right? It's possible for everyone if they're willing to do the hard work, just like we do here on this channel. And being able to give people hope like that and showing them through your own story is like one of the most powerful ways of doing that, rather than just telling people things that maybe you've never experienced. So sometimes going through that thing is the exact thing you need to actually make your business thrive on the other side. Now you might get to this point and wonder, how do I reprogram my mind for positive thinking? And let me tell you, it's a skill that you can actually develop. And we've made a video to show you exactly how. So tap the screen to watch that video now. Thank you for being here. We really do appreciate you. Keep leading from the front and we'll see you on the next video. Bye.
Bye.